Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to another episode of Red Flags. One of your hosts, Yimika, and my co-host Shay is with us. About to get into another episode, talk some football, talk some basketball, talk some soccer. Yes, it's soccer. And
If you say so.
yeah, let's get into it, Shay. What do we have today on the
Yeah,
agenda?
we'll start off from the usual place. So Premier League week 7. Um yeah, nothing
Good week.
too remarkable happened this past weekend. I mean, Palace lost to Liverpool. Yes, some people will say Crystal Palace should have got the penalty in that game, but everybody will be fine. I'm tired of talking about refs. Your boys, your boys got the win against Southampton. Brentford
Tough game,
beat
tough
Wolves.
game.
I don't know. Like I don't think there's any results.
The scoreline sounds better than it is, but it was actually a tough game. So they didn't really play well. But I think that's one of the things that is a growing theme for Arsenal this season. Not playing well, but still getting the result. So sounds like champions to me, but too early to see all that.
Fair enough. At least you can hype your team up. My boys were going aura for aura in who wants to be worse against Aston Villa at the weekend. Game ended in a deserved nil draw for both sides. Like I don't
It
know.
was a good game. It was a good game.
Don't
I
know.
certainly thought you guys weren't as trash as everybody was predicting. It was almost like the narrative that Sky Sports was trying to drive was like Ten Hag was going to fall from Porto, and then this one was going to be the decider for him to get sacked. Like even in the commentary
Finally
for the
off him.
game, like
I don't
they
know.
were just this how they did this how they introed the game. They were like, "Oh, Ten Hag starts the game with 300 million of his signings on the bench," and I'm like, like
Bro. I
who
mean
comes up with that?
that's what everyone was harping on about. Like, oh, so you signed these guys and we are still starting with Leicester City's 2018 centre back partnership or something like that. Like, I mean, I didn't watch the game
That's
because I was in church, but
that's another take. Leicester City started. No, but that's true though. I mean, again, is it truly unanswered questions? Because I know we talked a lot about Ten Hag last episode, and that was one of the flags that I raised in terms of he's been given the opportunity to bring in players. And a lot of Man U coaches are always given the opportunity, and those players they bring in never actually do well for them. So it's kind of like almost a cycle being repeated again. But we're giving him more time. We're believing in the process. Trust the process.
that more time is relative because I mean there was a meeting yesterday in Manchester with the executive leadership, and I think Joe Glazer and the Ineos guys, Sir Jim Corner, Dave Brailsford, and the top guys running the club had a meeting today in London. We don't know the outcome yet. They haven't said anything to the
Man,
media.
they're always having meeting. One day the one's backing him. Bro, those guys are just
Bro,
confused. They're
bro,
always
bro,
looking for
bro.
who do
Like,
they want to hang on some some crucifix cross every
like
every two to
if we are
three
keeping it
years.
if we are keeping it in bulk, right? Like if we are keeping it in bulk, given how United, like the results have gone for United, right, from last season till now, like one can arguably say United have been a mid-table team
Yeah, but at the same
since
time,
last season, right?
I,
I
I, I
don't
would
know. I don't know what the ownership is going to make of that. If they feel like that's enough to fire the guy, I don't know, right? We'll find out.
I would say that United haven't signed a top tier player, not necessarily like someone who is a name brand, but somebody who is whether a name brand and also delivered on quality since Bruno. I mean, and Bruno is someone that, from my own perspective, Bruno came with a bang, did 1, 2 seasons of showcasing that he's the man, and then got paid and chills. Like that's what a lot of money. That's what Rashford did. That's Rashford hack. 1, 2 seasons of promising English talents, promising. Like I was watching this sort of YouTube video where they were explaining if Rashford will get into teams across the Prem and across Europe, and everybody seemed to believe that he would get into almost every team. And man, everybody's still talking about Rashford in terms of potential. Like, no,
Bro, so
can't
it
do
turns out
that.
some people actually think that guy is like 22, 23 for reasons best known to them. Like, I mean,
Bro, whether he's
United fans. They're not United fans.
how
So,
old is he? 25,
I mean,
26?
bro, you see, man's pushing 28. Pushing 28.
Whoa,
Bro, I
Rashford is
mean, let
28.
me not cap on this stream, right? But I'm pretty sure that guy is pushing 28. Like, okay, he's what? He's 27. He's 27 this month. Next year is 28. He hasn't done his birthday. I thought he had done it because I knew he was done it
Bro,
on
no,
17th.
you cannot use the word potential with him because once you clock 30, that shit is
Bro,
like
like
you are
October
in
31st
fact
is 27.
in
So
fact
next year is 28.
realistically and this is why I sometimes like I think sports generally, like sports is kind of like very like unforgiving in terms of like age and like your potential.
Yeah.
Um if you're in your 20 like 25, 26, and you haven't sort of showcased anything, bro, that's who you are. That's who you are for the rest of your career. It's very truthful in football, and I'm using the British football in this situation. It's very truthful in basketball. It's very truthful in American football. Like you do not become like you do
Yeah, I
not
mean,
there are
most
no
of these
late
sports
bloomers.
generally, like, you are what you
At
are
that
at some
21,
point.
21,
Like,
23, like if you haven't
yeah.
showcased anything and consistently building on that, like that's it.
I mean, I wouldn't write him off. I wouldn't write him off.
There's nothing that he, bro, this guy,
He's my team's franchise player. I support the
no
team.
Allah,
I
no
don't
Allah.
think I have a choice here. Right. I'm not going to write Marcus Rashford off just yet. Right.
But
Uh Other results, Chelsea drew against Nottingham Forest. There was a bit of a scuffle where I don't know if punches were thrown, but I know the Premier League is charging both Chelsea and Forest for failing to control their players or something like that. And yes, and Postecoglou, those images. I mean, I wish I had one of those images to show you guys, but I believe man is at the point where he has come to the realization that Spurs are always going to be Spursy, right?
I mean, they were turning up good to start the season, but again, I think what they did in the transfer window was not good at all. Seeming like they lost Kane. Um, I mean, not this season, but last season. Like they haven't really done well to sort of replace those goals, and their midfield again is something that is decent. There are a lot of good pieces, but I'm sorry, Madison as your main creator is insufficient. It's like when you swipe that credit card, and then you're trying to pay for that expensive meal, and they just tell you insufficient credit funds. It doesn't mean you don't have money. It doesn't mean that you don't have money. It's just like
Yeah,
it's not enough for that meal that you're trying to buy. That's who James Madison is. Insufficient funds.
fair enough. Fair enough. Leave your thoughts in the comments, guys. Want to hear what you think about Spurs, what you think about United, and just I don't know, just any Premier League team you support really, and Premier League as a whole. I want to hear your thoughts. So keep your comments coming, guys. Um, this week we have something
Yes.
from Yimika. So I mean, I'll just let him like sort of
But
explain what
bro, like you gotta
the
start calling Mr. Hot Takes. Mr. Hot Takes.
yeah
Yeah, Mr. Hot Takes. But yeah, basically we're looking at building a power ranking of players. Um Basically trying to analyze who is killing it in different positions across the league.
yeah
This week we decided to talk about forwards. So Shay, do you want to throw on those my
yes
top
sir
fours?
yes sir. So just call it when you're ready. If you're ready for number five, I put it up on the screen.
Oh, we're
So
starting from the bottom. Okay.
yes,
Number five, right?
okay,
This guy is very underrated. Like, to be very honest, I know that a lot of people will look at it and say, like, how the fuck is Jackson on this list? He is not a pure finisher, but Jackson as a energy player up top and facilitating within that Chelsea attack, he has started off the season well. He might not stay here for the whole season, but I have to do it based on form. This is not based on your name or who you are. This is based on what are you delivering on a consistent weekly basis. Jackson is up there. He's like what, fourth in the league in terms of goal contributions. And he obviously playing alongside another guy who's on the list. So let's go on to number four, please, Jay.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, this guy has to be up there. Like, he's not starting, and this guy is balling, scoring crazy goals, threat. He's he's what I consider a modern day complete forward. Someone who is spontaneous when it comes to scoring and finishing, high energy, willing to press. Again, the one thing I would just say is that because he hasn't played a lot of full games, maybe I'm giving him a little bit too props on that high energy concept because it's different playing 70 minutes versus playing 40, 50 minutes on average. I think it's even less than that. He's playing like maybe between 40 and 30 minutes on average, but still making impact and giving his coach Wahala headache. But number three guy, like I think realistically, I'm just trying to be unbiased with this guy. I would actually put him, I would actually put him like I would not take anybody past Kai in this league right now. When it comes to work ethic, contribution to the sort of build up of play, ability to be a defensive anchor, and his ability to sort of create that spontaneous player touch and things like that. Kai is
Type
number
God.
one in the league. Number one. But as a pure finisher, and that's what a forward is, a pure finisher, someone who you can guarantee is going to give you goals and ensure that is going to back things. Maybe he's not up there. But I will tell you, this guy has scored what? Is it six consecutive home games across the league? Booming, booming right now. Like I can't say even more about Kai because this guy is just elite.
He's
Elite.
balling. He's balling. I wouldn't lie. He's balling.
Okay. Number two, you have to say that this guy is definitely up there. And a lot of people argue that he's not a forward. Yes, it's very cold in here. It's not yet December, but it's very cold in here.
Bruh.
Um, this guy, when it comes to again, a lot of the things that I talked about from Kai Havertz, the only thing I would just say Cole doesn't have is that work ethic and that ability to sort of, hold up play and things like that, which again is why I say he's in the middle of it in terms of being a forward. I'll call him a center forward, like that's his position, same as Kai. But Cole has that finishing, has that ability to still create like spontaneous goals outside the boxes. That is free kick that he scored on real hat trick in like what 6 minutes last week, bro.
Yeah.
He's a real guy,
Doing
and he
right thing.
also still gets assist. Number one is not like we all know who it's going to be. Like we just
I
have to
don't. We don't even
respect,
have to show it,
respect,
but come on,
respect,
come on,
respect,
come
respect.
on.
Like I'm sorry, 100. What's it? 101 games, and no 100 and
No, I think it was 100 goals in 105 or something like that.
like
100
come
goals
on,
in yeah,
like
he matched Ronaldo's record at
bro,
Madrid.
like it don't it do, again I'm doing that in Prem, doing it in Prem. It's not La Liga. Like in Liga, you expect goals to flow. But Prem, like everybody knows that it's not a goal league. Everybody's running, everybody's on it. So this guy is a beast. He's a beast. I wouldn't replace Kai with Haaland, like just because I like the way Kai flows within our team. But Haaland as a forward, like any club will want him. Any club will want him if they need goals. If you need goals, just get that guy. But yeah, this is top five right now. Forwards, more to come. Probably. In fact, you guys let us know which one do you want to see, like midfielders, defenders, um, wingers. Like there are a couple of things that we have in the bag. We just want to unlock it based on what you guys want. So let us know because
Yeah,
we want to
leave your
throw our
comments. Leave your comments and please, please, I'm begging you guys, bash Yimika, bash. Please don't let this list go uncritiqued. Like,
No,
cause
everybody's going to align with this, bro. Like the only guy that I'm worried about is Jackson. That's the only guy I'm worried about. Because maybe Ollie Watkins could have come in, maybe, but these guys they're not on form. I'm talking about form guys, not who
yeah,
is
I mean,
nice.
like,
Who would you
fair
guy?
enough. Like
Who's on form?
the list is like, I definitely like agree with like the guys on the list, but I don't know. Something about me wants to put Duran ahead of Havertz, but at the
This
same
guy,
time,
you're mad.
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced totally
What
that
what else
Duran
does
should be
Kai
ahead
have to
of Kai
do?
Havertz.
Bro, chill out. For
Bro,
me, it's only because I'm an Arsenal
I
fan.
acknowledged that Havertz was balling, bro.
It's
I
it's only
acknowledge that
because
fact.
Arsenal is right here that I'm just trying to be
Yeah,
not
you'd have put
too
him at number two, right? I
like
know.
Gara. Bro, I'm sorry. Like Kai's hold up play. Like if you saw that game against City, like bro, like there are just some intangible things that this guy does. Like he's not a striker per se, but holding up the ball, being able to compete up top, like bro, like those are
Yeah,
things that you wouldn't envision with his body size. Like he's tall, but he's not built. He knows how to use his body. So there are a lot of things that he does that always blow my mind every single day.
no problem, no problem. Like, I'll leave it to the listeners and viewers, right? To just critique everything that you put on that list. Let's move on.
Yeah.
115 charges FC. I'm not going to spend too much time on these guys. I'm a hater. Like, I don't need to hide it. I can't even hide it.
Okay,
But
we are
yes,
all
this
we're
news be
both
coming out that they've scored a big win against the Premier League and their associated party transaction laws. Yeah, so apparently Arsenal, United, and a bunch of other Premier League teams provided evidence to the court
Liverpool.
of Premier League, right? The quote unquote red cartel, right? And the teams that supported City,
The
Chelsea, Newcastle, and not
money
Chelsea,
men.
Newcastle, Everton, Nottingham Forest. Like, I mean,
There's nothing up there. I thought it was just
yeah,
everything.
Forest is there. Forest is there. This their win. They should enjoy it. I don't really know what it means,
No,
right?
but
But
they
the
definitely. I'm sorry,
115 charges. If the Premier League should manage to botch that, I pity the product called Premier League. That's where I'll just leave this one.
bro. Like they've introduced something that's a issue for us now. Personally, 200
What?
million worth of loan free, interest free loans.
Interest-free loans. Yeah, the
Yeah,
shareholder thing. I mean, about that, right? Abramovich was doing that for a long time. Why did anybody not say anything about it? I think it's just this whole city thing that just like casted it, right? And
that's what I'm saying. Like you said, it's the red. They're trying to finger point against the red cartel. Like obviously, we don't have like our money men or our owners are not
I
even
mean,
like
whatever it is,
playing.
the rule isn't going to affect the deals that have already been done, right? It's only
Of
going to
course, of
affect
course, of
future
course,
things. So
of
Arsenal
course.
should be fine, except you guys were planning to borrow more from those guys.
This guy, that's how we do our transfer
But
window
yo,
now.
now
We've
get
been
bar now. You guys are making bar.
which
You're
bar,
making money now. Come on, you're making money now.
bro?
You guys can afford all these things. Anyway, let's move on. Hmm. Injuries and the new football schedule.
Controversy now. Not even, bro. But again, like it's not even.
I mean, like,
A lot of guys have talked about this. Like obviously, Roger was the first one to start it. De Bruyne hopped
yes,
on it. Son.
Kunde,
I mean,
Son,
but
Timber, so many guys. Like, and
the,
I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. Like, we don't always like what we have to do. We don't always like our assignments. Everybody has a day job that they have to do. Like, we are not always passionate about our jobs, but we go ahead and do those jobs because that's what puts food on the table. You guys, You guys are professional footballers. The way I see it, you should just do your jobs. Yes, it is okay to complain about the schedule, but I mean, see this tweet from Rodri where he's saying um, he thinks they are close to going on strike over the football calendar, like threatening strike action. I don't know. I really don't know. These
No,
guys are getting
because
paid. These guys are getting paid way more than those players that played in the days when the schedule wasn't as packed. I think I think something has to give at some point. It's not just this sport alone. Like every other sport, like more money is flowing in, more responsibilities. With great power, as they say, right, comes great responsibility. So I mean, I'll
no,
just let Yimika counter because I know
no,
Yimika wants
that's
to counter me.
there's no counter. I'm aligning with you, but that was a good point what you said about more sports because the NFL recently increased their games. Historically it was 16. I think now it's like 18, or is it 16 or 17? They're still
Yeah,
going to grow it again because
yeah, it's now 17 games.
they're using that as their ability to play more international games, to capture more of a wider audience, increase TV revenue, increase global presence. The NBA introduced an in-season tournament that increased the games by like 12 to 15 games, just as like a way to sort of increase more viewership for the season, because the season is long and a lot of people don't really play their most until the playoffs. So there's a correlation between the number of games that you're playing and obviously like TV rights, because they need to showcase everything. Everybody's on TikTok, everybody's on Instagram. So I mean, all these guys are paying billions just to have those TV rights. They need to have content on a daily basis for them to sort
Yeah.
of validate that. And on the flip side of things, we're talking about schedule. These guys are flying private jets. When they say they are going from this place to this place, now private jet did it take them from one side to the other side,
So a bunch of
comfortable.
these, sorry to cut in, right? Like a bunch of these guys that complained publicly are injured now,
No,
coincidentally, right?
that again, that
But
was what I was going to get at. They
are
still
they
get
getting
paid.
paid? Are they
They still
getting
get
paid or
paid.
not?
Like some of us, like if we get fall sick on job, like we have maximum sick days. There's no like
You get
uncapped
like they
free
will
for
cut
all
your
sick
pay.
days.
They will
Like
cut your
they'll
pay at
start
some
reducing
point.
it unless
People
it's
that
something
work
that
hourly,
happened on
like
work. So let's
in this
just
world,
be on.
you're not getting anything.
When you talk about taking strike, like that means like the money you already have in your bank account is so good. Like you don't need extra money. It's kind of what I see it as. Because everybody knows that when it comes to nightlife, all these guys now football players they run out.
Do you
Like
get?
it, it's
How
it's
old was Cantona when he retired? By the way, like I don't think he was also 33 when he retired.
well, Cantona that is still looking to
If
do
you're tired, if it's
uh,
stressing you, retire.
TV
You already had enough back.
appearances. TV appearances just to have bar. So like please, like these guys have no issues. Like please don't even put Luke Shaw because that guy's a joker. He's a
No,
joker.
no, no. That's
He's
the
a
next guy.
joker.
That's the next guy. That's the next guy that I'm mad at. Right. That's the next guy I'm mad at. Look at this guy. So in June, he said it's kind of everyone's fault. Partly my fault, partly medical. Um, we apologize for technical difficulties that I was experiencing. I'll just, I mean, back to Luke Shaw, right? He's expected to be out for another 6 to 8 weeks after picking up another injury on the muscles of the leg he broke a couple of years ago. The club don't want to rush him back. This is someone who had not played for Manchester United since February or March. He goes to the Euros not fully fit. He comes back from the Euros, cannot resume preseason for Manchester United, and still cannot play for the club. And we're in October. We're expecting him to be out in like December at this point. It's frustrating really as a fan to see the way he has handled the whole situation. But we move on from him. Around
So
June this weekend.
just one point on him.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's cool.
Um, this is where Manny is still lacking in that ruthlessness. Surely reminds me so much of Karen Tierney. Joined the team, so much promise, looked good, but could not stay fit. When a guy cannot stay fit, he's not worth shit. Cut him, move on. Get a player to replace him. But no, you keep believing in him. That's part of like the lack of ruthlessness from your club. So I do blame you guys as much as, like you said, I blame the club as much as
To be
him
fair,
himself.
left back is one of the positions that has been singled out as where we need improvements from the next transfer window, right? But it remains to be seen. I guess there were other pressing needs that were determined ahead of left back this past transfer window, so we couldn't make any changes there. But moving on to other results around Europe, I didn't watch a lot of games, but I watched the Fiorentina versus AC Milan game after I saw that David De Gea saved the first penalty around halftime, and he saved another penalty in the second half
Unreal.
and ended up saving two penalties in total that game. I think AC Milan missed three penalties in total that game. He became first
Unreal.
keeper in 9 years in the Serie A to save multiple penalties in a game. Big congratulations to him. Everybody said it was finished. The world thought it was finished. David De
Was
Gea,
it
we appreciate
he-
you. I wish you saved
FIFA
one of the penalties, one of the 11 penalties you conceded against Villarreal in Europa League. But
FIFA has Onana rated 84. I think he's rated 86, even after 1 year of just chilling on there.
he's a beast. We can't wipe away over a decade of brilliance, right? So we thank God
But
for him.
also in Italy, though, another one of you guys is man, McT. McT. What was it like? He scored a goal in like what? Yeah, in like 15 seconds, or was it like, yeah, 15 seconds? Bro, like, I'm sorry. This guy, McTominay, is one of the
The
guys
fact
that
that
I've told
the fact that
Shay about so
I think what
much.
also adds to the
Papa, can I
pain,
give my take? Can I give
what
my
adds to
take?
the pain, I'm sorry,
Can I give
is
to
the
the
fact that
take?
Lukaku keeps assisting this guy. Like Lukaku, bro.
Can I finish? Like,
Please
yes,
go
that's even
ahead.
more pepper
Go
on it.
ahead. Go ahead.
McTominay is one of those Man U players that I always told Shay that I was saying, this guy is quality, right? This guy as a attacking midfielder, sort of playing in the box, some was always good. Like he wasn't like Bruno level, like okay, game changer kind of situation, but within the team's configuration, I felt like he had a place. They've now replaced that guy with Mount. Mount that will be on injury bench collecting check. That's that's part of like the Man U like logic that I've always had an issue with. When somebody is consistent and is always giving you effort, energy, and also delivering on quality. Because I remember there was one season where he was playing as a false nine that it was like, bro, like this guy is just unreal. You're gonna sell him, bring in Xerxes, bring in Casemiro, and all these guys that are just like deadwood legged and have no like real drive for the club. Like that isn't how you build your team. You build your team based on energy, desire, consistency, and then obviously it translates into performances. But if you have none of that, all you just have are, like you said, these guys just is a job. You just need to show up on the field, kick the ball around. They'll collect their 200K per week, more than some of us even see in our lifetime. Like
Well, we are happy our boy is doing well.
it's not your boy anymore. It's
I
not your boy.
believe I speak
It's not,
on behalf
it's not
of
your
all United fans when I tell you we are happy McTominay is doing well at Napoli.
okay.
We appreciate our own. The
Is that
role
how
is
you feel
our
about
own.
is that how you feel about
United
Jaden?
born and bred.
Is that how you feel about Jaden? Okay.
Jaden is not
Just
our boy.
no, I'm just checking.
He's
I'm just
not from
checking.
La Carrington, bro.
I'm
He's
just
not
checking
from La
because
Carrington. He's not a
they
product of La Carrington.
there are a lot of people that have left Man U and
He Are they
figured
products
out how
of
to
La
play,
Carrington?
figured figured out how to play football. Like I don't know. Is it Man U that doesn't know how to play football or they don't know how to play football? But
We'll
yet
find out. We'll
you still
find
have
out.
Luke
Time will
Shaw on the
tell.
medical
Time will
field.
tell, Yimika. Time will tell. Time
No,
will
Ala,
tell.
let's push on. Let's push on. You know I'll
For
berate
Pogba,
your team forever.
for Pogba's ban has been reduced from 4 years
This
to
guy, why did you say right
18
now?
months.
Why did you say it's right? Poke back. Poke back.
For Pogba,
He's back.
according to Sammy Mokbel, Pogba has had his 4-year doping ban reduced to 18 months by the Court of Arbitration for Sports. He can start Juventus training in January and play matches from March. But it was
He already
also
terminated his
reported that
contract.
Juventus
Yeah.
plan to terminate his contract and he will not be playing under Thiago Motta. We'll see how that develops.
Where do you think he's gonna sign, or where do you think he should sign?
Go and collect Saudi money, as far as I'm concerned.
Nah, bro. I think Pogba is actually one of those players that can actually one play in Serie A for like a Napoli, or even be like a rogue man and go and play for like a Milan and ball out to the point where a lot of people are looking and saying like,
I
how the
mean,
fuck did we not sign
I'm not
Pogba for
saying
free?
there isn't any team that he will play well for. I'm not saying that. Right? I'm just saying maybe at this point he just
Bro, Pogba has cashed out. Like what do you think he was doing in Man U?
bro,
What do
that's
you
what
think
I'm
he
saying.
was
Like
doing?
the first time this whole Saudi thing started, right? Pogba was one of the people that were linked with a move there, but he said at the time that he will still want to play in Europe a few more years before
I'm
moving
saying
there.
like
Right?
Pogba has
At
like
this
two,
point,
three
maybe he
years.
feels his time.
No, I think Pogba has personally, I think Pogba has 2 years of quality in Europe football. That will put him around when he's age 32, 33. Then he can go and cash out in Saudi because I think he has like a redemption tour that he can do. And again, like please just put Pogba on YouTube if you ever forget what that guy was. Like
How will I
nasty.
forget?
No, no, I'm just saying,
Forget
like, in case anybody's just confused as to what I'm saying or what I'm talking about, put
Lapio.
that guy, put that guy in, even in Inter, bro, that would be dirty. Put that guy in Inter's midfield. Let Hakan Lulu, please help me.
Chalanolu.
Hanalulu, Hanalulu. Let him just sit there in the midfield. Have Barella, have Pogba on one side. Come on, man. Come on, man. Put him in Milan. Come on, man. That guy will just be balling out like nobody else. But again, we'll see.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Moving on from football or soccer, as Yimika called it. Please attack Yimika later. I call this football.
Attack me, please. Soccer.
NBA season is back on the horizon. NBA
Yay.
season is back on the horizon. Um,
Yay.
I think it was last week that they did their media rounds. All the teams had their media day, and um,
Preseason has kicked
preseason games
off.
kicked off over the weekend.
Well,
And
it's not real until it starts, like the tip off. But
yeah, of
we'll
course,
definitely talk
of
you
course.
guys through what happened off the season, get you caught up. Because again, like I know there have been some games, but it really don't matter. Um, let's just see how or who we think is going to be like a mainstay this year because there's a lot of shake up over the season.
I mean, we'll also be remiss to not show you guys a legendary. I mean, it wasn't legendary. It was just what it represents, right? First off, I said I was going to tell people why I don't have a basketball team in my background. Yes, I don't have any basketball team that I can say I'm that committed to. Right, I don't even have the patience for the NBA season as a whole because I just feel personally that there are too many games to watch. They're playing almost every night when the season starts, and it's just tiring for me. I usually just follow lightly and then focus when they get to the postseason, the playoffs, right? When the playoffs begin. And I'm just a LeBron guy, right? So any team he's playing for, I follow, right?
Bro, the comments that you made about the basketball is still the same. Like I'm an avid Miami Heat fan. I don't watch all Miami Heat's regular season. People tend to watch the big matchups. That's kind of the draw for the
Yeah,
league. And that's what makes the NBA great because every other weekend there's like two powerhouses competing against each other. Just imagine if the top six or top eight in the Premier League, you doubled the competitiveness of that. So it was a top 16, and every single um, weekend you had one facing the other. That's what the NBA is, and that's what they sell as their markets. Like the in-season competition, like I mentioned, was developed just to increase engagement with fans because they feel like during the season, like people don't have that. It doesn't feel like it's worth a lot. Like
yeah.
it's just another game kind
Like
of situation.
it actually like helps to like drive viewers, right? Viewership of the games. That instance of
But
that.
but the real reason why the NBA, and for me, I think like if I had a child who wanted to play sports and he was like the most athletic kid ever, tall, like I'm fairly decently height, like I have a 6'3", maybe my kid was like 6'6", 6'8", like elite height. Bro, the only sport he's playing is basketball because trust and believe, my life is set if that guy gets drafted.
What if
We'll
it was
talk.
built like a linebacker or
You
a
are still
lineman?
playing. Go and play the power forward in the NBA. Go and play power forward in the NBA and be dunking on niggas. Like, no. Please, can we go to free agency so I can explain why?
No.
Let's
We
highlight.
have to show
Let's
history. LeBron and LeBron James, the king, and LeBron James Jr. took the court together on Sunday as the first father-son duo
wants to show us corny
to share
stuff.
the court
Go ahead.
together in the NBA. And we have just a small snippet of that to show you guys. So just
No action. Just people
have a
playing.
quick look at that, please. Bro, do
Okay.
you realize how significant this is, please?
Can we now go on to
Father and son.
after Daddy has done all he can to ensure that someone can play in his team? Please, can we see the real players in the
Please, please.
NBA?
Eh, as a father,
Recap.
won't you do the same for your boy?
That's what I said. Me,
Please.
I'll be on the front. I will be on the bench saying, "Go ahead, Sonny. Let him be nice and athletic. Let him sign max contract. I don't need to play. Let him be there." But yeah, no. This off season was a lot of crazy deals. A lot of crazy deals. We'll start off with the big one. We started reaching the 300 million club. Like there are players who are signing deals for 300 million. Jason
My
Tatum.
God.
The guy just won his first NBA title. His guy, he's a Robin, or I call him the Batman because sometimes both of them they are confused who's Batman or Robin. Got his own 300. I think it was like 305, but Tatum a little bit younger gets a little bit more because the cap increases every season.
Yeah.
Just to explain, the way basketball works is that there's a pool of money that's allocated for each team, and every player is sort of signed getting an allocation of that pool of money for the year. And the cap just means like they can't spend past that amount. But there are different levels of the cap. There's the soft cap and there's the hard cap. And basically, if you go over the soft cap, you start paying an additional tax to the NBA.
Luxury
Mon-
tax.
Money day is what I'm just trying to explain to you. So Tatum just got this 300. So like I said, there are two players on this Celtic that have 300 million contracts. Like, are you hearing what I'm saying? Do you not want your kid to play basketball, or do you want him to play uh, football or soccer or whichever one? Please,
If your kid is a quarterback, he can earn above 60 million a year.
but
That's
that
first
how
class.
many ones? How many ones? How many quarterbacks are doing this? This is what I'm saying is regular
He's
money.
the
Or
first. He's the
how
first. That's the market going forward.
I'll show you what
They
market
are
rate is
literally considering
towards the
creating
end.
a separate cap for QBs.
I will
But we
show you
digress.
what
We digress. We
what
digress.
I'll show you what market cap for just regular. You shall got drafted in the first round, and you shall still okay. This is how much you can earn in your 20s. LeBron James, sorry, Tatum earning 54 million. So we're obviously going to go with highest earners down to lowest earners. So 54 million is setting the bar of how much guys are getting paid. Um, sorry, I didn't add Curry here because he's the one that signed a 2-year deal and he's earning like about 60 million. But again, I just felt like I wanted to showcase like a good pool of different people just to highlight the kind of money people earn. You have LeBron James, he signed a 2-year deal, 101 to stay with the Lakers, obviously get his son. We already saw Bronny James there. That guy just got one of the highest second round packages ever.
Well, I think it
We're
was
going to
like
say
7.6 million or something.
we're going to say it's based on talent, right? Or it's not the name on the back.
Nepo
Whatever.
day inside, but what can we do? What can
Whatever.
we do? What
Uh
can we do?
Paul George moved from the Clippers, signed with the Sixers, 212 from 20, 212 4-year deal, earning him 47.2 million a year. Pascal Siakam stayed with the Pacers, 198 million 5-year deal and 47.2 per year. So these guys are like the top echelons of guys that got re-signed over a year, except Curry. Sorry, apologies for not adding that. My bad, Curry. Like, if you're watching this, like, respect, respect. um, some other big name players are a Nigerian London brother, Onunobi,
Anunobi.
Anunobi. Sorry.
Mm,
Um,
I'm sure that's not how to pronounce it, but that's
the
how I
guy
hear it on
just,
TV.
yeah, the guy got paid also 212, 4 years, looking at 42.5 per year, cashed out. Tyrese Maxey, young point guard, got 203 5-year. That's 40.7 per year. Jalen Brunson, everybody was shocked about this deal because if this guy had stayed, had not signed this deal, next season he could have been one of those 300 million guys. But again,
Yeah.
this guy's loyal for his team, and we're gonna highlight why his loyalty paid off because the team has done some magic to make them look good. So we have
Yep.
two Knicks here. Scotty Barnes. This is part of the young money that I wanted to highlight. Just be decent. Just be good. Get drafted in the first round. Do well for your first 4 years. You're guaranteed to make 225 million. Guaranteed over 5 years. This money can grow to 270 if it performs. Because again, the way the NBA does their deals is performance incentives. If you make all-star games, if you're all NBA player, these
Yeah,
are like
you trigger
rankings
some
and things like
clauses in
that.
your contracts
And
and
your
you make
money
your
just grows
payments.
like your money grows on a regular per season because the way they do the salary, it's kind of like it increases per year, but you can get greater increases if you perform really well. So this is one of the guys that were just drafted like 4 seasons ago, getting the max contract is what it's called. We go on to the next page. The first two guys, similar things. You can see the money is consistent. So 224 million, 5 years, 38 million a year. They are going to, if they perform well, that can grow up to 270. They need to showcase their skills, and if they don't, they still collect on minimum 224 million. But cash. That money is going to grow. Like you see, the thing about the NBA is that even if you don't play well, you are guaranteed to get that money. Like when you sign that deal, that's money you can go and take loan on that money. You will get paid. It doesn't matter. There's no I want to sell, I want to mm-mm. That money, even if you get traded, that money is going with you. So Donovan Mitchell, another
American sports in general.
no, but football is they can cut you. They can cut you, bro.
If
Can
your
cut
money
you
is
like
guaranteed, your money like whatever is guaranteed for you, you get it.
yes, but again, a lot of it's only the big time players that get a lot of guaranteed
They
money.
can
It's
cut
it's
you. They can cut you from the team. but that equates to dead cap space on the team, right? Because they
Yeah,
still have
yeah.
to pay you that money. They
But
still
me,
they still
you are
have to pay
talking
you that
about
money.
the best wide receiver, the best quarterback. But this guy, this kid
And
Cunningham, everybody was asking the question, why did they sign him to a max contract? He was drafted number one overall, has not performed, has not showcased anything to highlight the quality. But just because the Pistons are worried that if he goes to another team, he might then turn up, they will
well,
pay him. They'll pay him just for he might be good, he might get better. We just need to make sure that we just have him. But anyhow, Donovan Mitchell stays with the Cleveland Cavaliers. There was a lot of rumors that he was going to look for a trade. Stays on. He's looking to build out with them. 35.4 million per year, 150 million deal. Bam Adebayo, this deal was unreal. My Yoruba brother playing for the Heat, although he doesn't claim us as much.
Eja Wilson.
Um, yeah, that's yeah, power couple, po- power and big couple. You see that you see the Bam, like although he's not Yoruba, bro, this guy is too sharp because he's securing not his own bag, he's securing his child's bag by
Yes, sir.
giving birth to a child between so he's like what 6'10", Aja is like 6'8". That child is not going to be less than 7 foot. And he's going to
Male or
have the
female,
talent,
man. Male or female.
whatever
Those people are definitely like they are definitely going to be giants.
they're going into the league. Not giants, they're going into the league. Guaranteed.
If they're
Anyhow,
interested though. If they're interested.
but that's not how it works. Once it's like saying like my dad is Elon Musk. I'm not interested in space. Baba, I'll figure out how space works as long as as long as my daddy owns that company. Like, what am I on about? Um, 34.8 million. It's a great deal for the Heat because again, it's going to grow significantly, but at the same time, signing him early, making sure that we lock him in, like he'll be one of those 50 million guys in a couple of seasons, but we've just ensured that our cap situation is good. Then we'll switch over to some of these trades that happened. So some of the off-season transactions. This was where like a lot of big time deals were happening. Um, so first of all, just shout out to Clay Thompson, who didn't actually land on this list. He was traded to the Dallas Mavericks, almost said Cowboys, representing my Cowboy fan up there. The Dallas
Your
Mavericks.
Balbele is showing. Everybody is seeing it now. You are casting. You are literally casting on air. It's fine. It's fine. Go ahead.
We'll see what he can do, whether he can revive his contract. Signed a very poor deal to my own taste, but I think he's out there to prove that he's really still got it in his shooting game and um ultimately rooting for him to have a awesome comeback season. But again, to highlight the main deals, I put Carl Anthony Towns first, but realistically, like it, I would rank Malik Bridges' deal a little bit higher than that. But in essence, the Knicks sent Julius Randle plus DiVincenzo
Dante
and
DiVincenzo, I think. Yeah.
yeah, Dante DiVincenzo and some draft capital to the Timberwolves for Carl Anthony Towns. Carl Anthony Towns, just to give you some recap, he's been an all-star, has he? I might be exaggerating him. But anyhow, he was one of the Timberwolves corner pieces. Really did not show well in terms of like their last playoff run. And realistically, Timberwolves felt like they needed to make a move because Anthony Edwards has turned up to be their
Trans
cornerstone of their
man.
franchise. And in essence, they've given him the keys to the Mercedes or Bentley or whichever car like you like to
He's
drive.
their main
There's
guy
a
for sure. For sure.
yeah,
Everything
so
goes through.
they're sending Julius Randle, who's like a big man who likes to bump down low, who likes to also can spread the court with his three ball and see how they can build a different type of competitive team. But again, as you have seen on this previous list, there were two Knicks. There are two Knicks here. Like the Knicks are making moves. They got Malik Bridges, which was the craziest deal, I think, for the free agency. A deal between Brooklyn and the Knicks, which has never happened in like almost like 50 years because those guys hate each other. They're like both New
Yeah.
York rivals. They got Malik Bridges, a two-way player, defense, offense, just a short guy. Before it was like this whole Villanova crew because Malik Bridges, DiVincenzo, who is now gone to the Timberwolves, Bronson and Josh Hart all played in Villanova. They were part of the winning team for Villanova. So everybody was saying like this was a rerun of Villanova, but they've upgraded with K Anthony Towns or Cat or whatever one you want to call him. And yeah, we'll see how the Knicks perform this season. DeMar DeRozan, a low-key shout out. He moved from the Bulls to the Kings, and we'll see what that looks like. But yeah, that's the recap of the NBA. We're looking pretty excited to see what's happening. Like I haven't called too much on the Heat because the Heat is going through their transitional period. Jimmy Butler, we don't know what he's about to do, but yeah, I think there are going to be a lot of crazy storylines. We have Dallas, we have the Warriors, we have like I said, the Heat, we have obviously the Knicks, the 76ers, like a lot of teams that are really going to be gunning for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So I guess we look forward to an interesting NBA season as always. The season should, I believe the season starts on the 22nd of October. I'll have to confirm that, but when I check that, that's what I remember. That's what I remember. The season starts on the 22nd of October, and
Yeah.
we look forward to, as I said, very
Definitely
interesting NBA
bring
season.
more content on the NBA, keep you guys updated. Anything that's interesting, we'll highlight that and any upcoming games that are coming, like we'll definitely let you know what you need to watch. And yeah, we'll add that into the rotation. We've been doing a lot of soccer and American football, but we know there's some basketball passionate fans, so we got you guys. We got you guys.
Shout out to Jibola. Shout out. Okay, moving on to football. The Falcons beat the Bucks 36-30 in overtime. Ah, well, I watched the game and yeah, it was pretty interesting. It was a pretty interesting watch. Both teams were not afraid on offense. Like they really showed their best
On
sides
slinging.
on offense. Like it was definitely a very interesting watch, right? Both teams now have a 3-2 record in the league. I put Kirk Cousins in this graphic because I feel like I have to point out something about that has been bothering me about him really. Um, he did well. He did well, right, in the game, right? But a lot of his passes come from inside the pocket. Yes, he's good at reading the game quickly and just making that decision right from within the pocket. But against good defenses, I don't know how that's going to work. Like he's probably going to get sacked a lot if he cannot escape the pocket and make those plays while on the run, right? So I just thought to point that out. But that's not the main story from the game. The main story from the game is the new king of Atlanta. The Atlanta Falcons place kicker Youngwei Koo. I hope I pronounced his name well. He's a Korean American place kicker. We have some graphics just to show you. Um, so the first one was the game-winning field goal from 58 yards against the Saints.
Yeah.
That's his career long, by the way. And the second one is, um, yeah, from 52 yards, sent the game into overtime. Money, pure money. Yeah. So social media just went crazy after the game because I mean scoring two important late field goals. King of Atlanta, Young Weku. Best things. Disclaimer: some of these tweets might offend some people. We apologize. We apologize. Best thing to come out of South Korea is Korean fried chicken. Young Weku. Young Weku, when it comes to saving the Falcons last second, he becomes LeBron James. Red Panda in the building. Young Weku, you honor the family. Young Weku, we point soy sauce when you go. Yeah. Just thought to add that. Moving on to the main meat of the week. Week 6. Yeah. So on Sunday, um, the New York Jets lost to the Vikings, who are now 5-0 for the season. Shout out to Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson having a very good season so far. Um, Panthers lost 10-36 at Chicago. Caleb Williams had a good game. The Bengals and the Ravens were the main game for the early kickoffs on Sunday. Bengals now 1-4 for the season. Sorry, I'm trying to excuse me.
Sorry, so
Can't get up my notes.
some crazy stats from two games. The Atlanta
Right?
game that we just talked about, where Kirk Cousins actually has like the most um drives to win a game in the league, and this is more than your Tom Brady's, your Mahomes, and things like that. And then um Joe Burrow is ranked number one in pass completion, number one in I think touchdowns, and number
Yes.
six in yards gained. So again, it's just funny. Like sometimes you can be good individually, but if you're not sort of working within your teams, yeah,
So
you still lose.
a lot has been said really about Joe Burrow being responsible for the Bengals 1-4 record, right, this season. But I think a lot of the criticism that he has come under is a bit unfair. But I get why people say that because there are people who would rather die than praise a losing quarterback, right? Because when the team is winning, the quarterback is always the one who receives the most praise, right? So I get where they're coming from, but anyone who is watching their games can see that their main issues actually lie with their defensive units. Um,
But also, I also
and
blame the
also the play
offseason.
calling, right? Because okay, they got to overtime. For some reason, Lamar fumbled the snap, right? And um the Bengals get the ball in field goal range, right? And I don't know who's calling that plays. I don't know his name, right? He calls 3 running plays. Like all the stats you just called about Joe Burrow now being the top this, top that, top this, top that, right? 3 running plays. You don't
No, but
let him like
you
he's
know.
handing the ball off. He's
Hold on, bro. Hold
okay.
on. This is one of the things where I'll disagree with you. Like you
Please
said, Lamar
agree.
had fumbled the ball, so they had only a field goal to win the game. Once you're
Yes.
in field goal range, you become super conservative. All you're just trying to do is make sure that um it's a straight kick for the kicker. It's easy as and comfortable as possible.
What
What
they
happened
were
was that they
doing,
fumbled, the kicker
what
fumbled,
the
the
kicker,
kicker,
the holder, the
yeah, he
guy holding the
fumbled.
ball, the
Yeah.
placeholder, yeah, he didn't catch the
So
snap
again,
properly.
that's not like you can't put that on the coach. Where I would put blame
Bro,
on with the Bengals.
they could have kicked the field goal on first down if they wanted.
Yes,
They were
yes, but
trying
like
they were trying to get they were trying to at least like make it a more like gettable
y-
field
yes,
goal.
there's that, but I'm just saying like honestly, you run the way you like the direction in which you run so that it's as straight as possible. There's no angle to the kick or that kind of situation. But regardless, that's just one game, right? I'm
I
talking
didn't
about
think it made sense. I see you live and
it's fine,
you
it's fine.
live and die by your decisions. This guy
But
had played well the whole game. and he makes you hand the ball off.
I need to highlight one thing though. The Bengals over the offseason, similar to the Cowboys, had a lot of controversy. Their number two receiver, T. Higgins, they franchise tagged him instead of figuring out a deal with him. Their
Mm-hmm.
number one receiver,
Chase.
Jamar Chase,
Mm-hmm.
they did not want to get a deal done because they felt like, oh, he had two
He
more
still
years
had
in his deal.
2 years,
Yes,
yes.
which they did for Burrow. So from me, I'm looking at a team, right? What the Bengals are known for is their high flying offense. Their defense, yes, it's solid, but it's not a defensive dominant
This
team.
season they haven't been solid. Honestly.
Um, they went into this season with a bad energy, bad aura of like how things are going, and that is what is translating into it. Burrow is playing well because he's paid, he's all good, everything's well, but the whole team is not sort of together and connected in terms of we're trying to go for Super Bowl. Everybody is kind of like, why am I worrying about Super Bowl when these guys don't want to pay me kind of situation? You have to understand that these guys they know that their shelf life is a little bit less. It's not like the NBA that we just discussed, where everybody's getting cash. Here, you have to maximize your cash. So it's very important. And that's where, from my own perspective, and I'm sorry to bring it to my own team here, the
Hmm?
offseason, our general manager did a fantastic job to get all our key players signed up, appeased well together. The ones that were not in their plan, they got rid of them, Hassan Reddicks and those kind of guys, with
Yeah.
the whole hope that the energy and the focus would be let's all come together. We're all good. We're going to be here for a couple of years. Let's push for Super Bowl. Let's try and get it. That's what I'm saying the Bengals are missing as an organization. But yeah, we can push on with the other
Anyway,
updates.
away from the negatives of the game, um, Lamar Jackson threw for 339 yards, 348 yards, 4 touchdowns, and rushed for another 55 yards. Joe Burrow threw for 339 yards and 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. Um,
Five touchdowns, bro. God.
yeah. So in back-to-back weeks, Lamar
Fantasy
Jackson
points must be
has
crazy.
beaten Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, scoring 7 total touchdowns, no interceptions.
And what's his name now? Dark. Didn't he beat Dark upper season?
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that from what I'm seeing, the only person that will stand in the way of Lamar Jackson winning MVP is Derrick Henry. Because I'm sorry, if Derrick Henry just keeps making these runs, like in overtime for the field goal they scored to win the game, right? He ran what for 51 yards, right? And he actually said after the game that if he thought someone was chasing him, he wouldn't have done what he did, right? Like he could have actually carried it all the way. But yeah, that's just I just thought to add that. But yeah, um play of the game, really. I will share that graphic shortly. I just want to talk quickly about the Bills and Texans game. Um, it's Stephon Diggs' first meeting against the Buffalo Bills since he was traded to the Texans. Um, he wasn't bad, but he didn't really do anything spectacular in the game. 6 receptions for 2 yards. Um, the offensive play calling from the Bills for me is what left me scratching my head, right? So the Texans won the game by a field goal. It was 2020. The game was tied. I think 29 or 20 to 29 seconds left on the clock. And Josh Allen threw the ball on every down. Like, they didn't run the ball at all, which meant they turned over the ball on downs with enough time left on the clock for the Texans to go off the field and score a field goal. I just felt, I don't know. I'm not the one there making money for this guy, like with these guys, so I can't really say. They clearly know the game more than me, but I can only say my opinion, and I just felt it didn't make sense. I don't know what you think.
Um, I think the Bills, like, what you just said again is kind of counterintuitive of what you just said about the Bengals. The Bills offense
No,
is
it's not the same scenario. It's
Can
not the
I
same
finish?
scenario.
Can I
Yeah,
finish?
sure, finish. It's not the same
Okay.
scenario.
The Bills offense is Josh Allen. So uh they are more willing to um live and die by whatever he's willing to do. So it's like they have to they have to play the throwing game, the pass game, the Bills. Like they have no run game. They like all that is built after the pass game. So yes, maybe they could have switched up past run the ball a little bit, but I can't blame that kind of situation
But
because
like
the Bills is
that,
built
like
around
I
that
really
guy.
just see it as simple clock management. It's clock management. Even if you don't like, even if you don't end up scoring, right? Like at least you don't want to leave the other team with enough time on the clock to get the ball down the field and score that late in the game.
But at the same time, they probably were trying to say like we can go score. No, so
Did it on
if they
first down, did it on second down. He didn't think, oh, let me just run it this time.
yeah, but at that point in time, like the game is not going to be over because the Texans will just call a timeout and stop the clock.
Did they
Like
have a
that's
time?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I don't think they did. I don't think they
I'm not
did.
sure.
I don't think they did. But even if you make them call a timeout, right? What you are doing is not leaving them that timeout when they are on offense.
No, I get that, bro. But at the same time, like that's why I just feel like it's not a straightforward process. Like it's almost like it's the situation on the
Anyway,
game.
let's not overflog. Let's not overflog.
Yeah, but sorry, you forgot to call out two things again.
Okay.
The Commanders 34-13 victory over the Browns. Their
Yeah.
quarterback is unreal. He's been
AJ
playing
Daniels
four
is
on one.
balling.
And then the Colts Jaguars, although the Colts lost, old man from the
Joe
Ravens, Joe
Flacco.
Flacco, balled out, crazy numbers. He's just showcasing that he's been a journeyman since he's left the Ravens, but he's someone that is like a consistent quarterback. So just needed to shout out those guys just for their performances.
Yeah, and Bo Nix for the Broncos. Um, they beat the Raiders 34-18. He
Yeah. Although a
had
little fight
the
with his coach, but
I mean, that Sean Payton guy, it is what it is, I guess. I mean, I don't think there isn't a QB coach though that wouldn't have the odd disagreements or two.
yeah.
I don't think it's anything to be alarmed about.
No, no, I mean it's just all dance. Like nothing like he joked about it at the press conference, so it's all good.
Anyway, the play of the early games, my boy, Action Jackson. Just look at this. Fumble the snap. First Stefan, second Stefan on the run. Ah, money, money,
Guys, guys, not your boy, bro. Stop saying this is your
money.
boy. Like, guy, you're
Please.
a Dallas Cowboy fan. Like, please stop claiming
Bro,
claiming
can you
things that
stop?
are not
Can
yours.
you stop? Can you stop?
Claiming things that are not yours,
Can you
bro.
stop? Can you stop?
Like this Action Jackson, bro. I'm more
It's
of a
still,
Ravens
it's still
fan
I
than
put,
you
it's
are,
still I
bro.
put, it's still I put,
If
it's
you
still I
put it,
put the Baltimore
if you
Ravens on my
if you
background.
put it every single episode, I'll throw a red flag. Like I'll challenge
That's your
that play call.
business.
Like, no, you cannot. You cannot.
That's
You
your
have
business.
showcased too much Dallas love to ever wear anything, any other team but Dallas. Bro, the star is on your fucking forehead.
I
In the
don't get
center.
like what is this obsession with the
This guy,
Cowboys.
you are
Why
obsessed with the
are you so
Cowboys,
determined? Why are you so
bro.
determined
It's not
to
me.
paint
It's
me as
not
a
me.
Cowboys
You,
fan?
bro, you are obsessed with the Cowboys. You are obsessed with
I'm
the
not
Cowboys.
obsessed with the Cowboys. The Cowboys are always in the news because they are the Cowboys. Like it's just what it
All right,
is.
please let's get our fans in here. Please, do you think that she is obsessed with the Cowboys? Because I'm the one that is always trying to move on when we are talking about the Cowboys, but we always seem to have a segment for the
You are
Cowboys. I'm
always
even
trying to move
shocked.
up because you are an Eagles
I'm
fan and
always
they are
shocked.
literally
I'm
your division
always,
rivals. You
and it's
cannot
not,
like
bro.
them.
Like
That's why news about them in any positive light pains you to your soul, guy.
it
You
doesn't pain me
literally
at
have
all.
Eagles behind you. You have the Eagles behind you right there.
Bro,
Stop trying to paint me for
Dallas
what
has
you
not been a competition for the Eagles for like the past like decade almost. Like in fact, the Giants are even more of a competition than the Cowboys are. Like
okay,
realistically,
okay, okay.
is maybe it's the media that paints that whole rivalry kind of situation since Dak has been there. But
No problem. No problem. Moving on. The 49ers suffered another loss to the Arizona Cardinals. Um, Packers beat the Rams 24-19. Yeah, I saw part of this game and there was a very weird pick that Jordan Love threw in the game. Thank God they still won, right? So
we also
the
had a
game ended.
crazy throw at the
What?
end of it. So it's a crazy touchdown that one of his wide receiver caught. Although
Yeah,
realistically, it was the wide receiver that ran that route to get that ball because the guy beat the hell out of those defenders and just well, yeah, get your boys.
Daniel Jones and the Giants managed the 29-20 win against the Seattle
Th-
Seahawks.
those are
And
not your boys. Those are not your boys. Get your
what?
boys. Those are
Yeah,
not your
so
boys. Get your
Sunday night
boys.
fixture. The Dallas Cowboys renewed their rivalry with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think this was the first time they were meeting since 2016, and yeah, I think the game was the game was delayed by maybe an hour or an hour 30 minutes due to adverse weather conditions in Pittsburgh. Um, yeah, it wasn't Dak's best game. He threw both teams are now 3-2 for the season. Wasn't Dak's best game. Threw um total of I think 3 interceptions on the night. Or, yeah, 3 or 2. But yeah, it wasn't great. But the final play of the game, or sorry, the final drive of the game, um, I think 12 plays. Dak got his boys off the field, fourth and goal, threw a 4-yard touchdown pass to Jalen Tolbert for the win. So yeah, not your best day. Was one thing that Dak has been criticized for over the years is in those moments, does he make those plays? Does he not make those plays? He was able to this time. So credit to him. On the Steelers part, I know a lot of people are calling for Justin Fields' head, saying, yeah, Russell Wilson should be thrown back into the starting lineup when I believe he's back in training tomorrow, which is Wednesday, um, back from his calf injury. So he'll be assessed, right, in the course of the week. And I think a decision will be made by the weekend. I think they play on Monday. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, I don't think Justin Fields is the problem. I think they simply need to add more than George Pickens in that wide receiver room in Pittsburgh. Like, that's just what I see as their main issue. Like I feel like their struggles to score are mainly due to not having enough weapons for the quarterback. I may be wrong. Russell Wilson might come into the lineup and play better than Fields and they'll start scoring more. I mean, as time will tell, I guess. Yimika,
Are we done with the Dallas segment?
do you want to add anything? I
Have you
mean,
finished showcasing your
Yimika
love?
had a bye week this weekend, so I'm sure he didn't do a
I've,
lot of watching.
I Are you finished showcasing your love?
Lions, Titans, and Chargers had a bye week this past weekend, so no games for them. Um,
Dallas.
Monday night, Saints lost to the Chiefs 26-13, and I saw an interesting stat that um, I hadn't actually paid enough attention to, but since their win against the Cowboys, they've been 0-3, and a lot of hype went to them, right, after the dismantled the Cowboys. I guess they were not as good as initially came out to look. And Derek Carr went off with an injury. I think they said it was an oblique injury um, in the fourth quarter. Yeah, refs being refs in Chiefs games, right? But the Chiefs, we still have to acknowledge them. They are 5-0 to start the season, and I don't think any Super Bowl champion has started the season 5-0. I have to confirm that, but I think, to my knowledge, I don't think any Super Bowl winner has started the season 5-0. So yeah, shout out to Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs.
With all
Um,
the injuries,
sorry.
yeah. But even with all the injuries, definitely performing. Performing.
Yeah. Uh, well, breaking news reaching us today. The New York Jets fired their head coach Robert Saleh. Um, my thoughts on this. Okay, well, Skip Bayless shared his thoughts. He said Robert Saleh was the Jets' second biggest problem. Their biggest problem threw three more interceptions on Sunday and ranks 21st in QBR. Um, he was basically bundled out of the building, according to reports. Robert Saleh is the first head coach in over 2 decades to be escorted out of the building by security after being fired. The team did not allow him to address his firing with the players. This is crazy, a complete mess.
I don't even know this. I mean, to be honest, this guy was reaching with this his role. And again, the Jets are very like not hating or bringing the whole Dallas situation to you, but the Jets are quite a big team because of like the fact that they're in New York and like their history and all of that. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of expectations placed on them. Getting Rodgers, the defensive core that they have, very young, and also the offensive core that they have because the Hill, and then they also drafted some other young running back that has been performing
Braden
a
Allen.
lot. Bren Allen, a lot of expectations on them. So everything was like they put all the pieces together. It's just for them to have a coach to drive them to the finish line. And I really don't think, again, was the coaching issue, even though, like I mentioned earlier, I think this was too big a shoe for him to fill because the Jets are used to having personalities as their coaches.
Coaches.
And this guy was just very much like a coordinator, somebody who knew the game and was looking to just sort of um eh, like give
It's
that
every
knowledge kind of thing. But realistically, this is the situation where you need to one be able to carry the media, drive the agenda, also handle big personalities. Like Aaron Rodgers is not a small boy, so playing with him and like a lot of things that Stephen A highlighted is true. Like he hasn't been playing well. How do you combat him so that he performs better? Not necessarily he goes into attack mode and it's just like a confrontation between coach and QB. Um, yeah, but I wonder who they're going to get at this point in time. I wonder. Maybe Bill?
Yeah, the I think the defensive coordinator is the one who is currently the interim head coach. Um, I mean, clearly they are satisfied with their defense and how they've been performing. Most of their issues have come on offense. To Skip Bayless's point, Aaron Rodgers on Sunday threw 29 of 54 passes for 244 yards, two touchdowns, three interceptions. He was sacked three times for a total loss of 26 yards, and he had a 42.7 QBR. The Jets are currently 2-3. Last season they finished 7-10. Um, I can't really blame them given how much they've invested in the team because I've been following the Jets for some years now, and in the past it was always, let me not even go too far back. Let me just stick to just the old starting QB, which was Zach Wilson, right? When Zach Wilson was there, it was always, oh, the quarterback isn't good enough. Look at Garrett Wilson. If you put him, if you pair him with the proper QB, he's going to be a superstar. etc. 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 You go and bring Rogers in, who is, I mean, up there with the best, right? And we are not seeing those things that we said we'll see. The first person who has to go is the head coach, right? Is similar to what my Manchester United are going through, sort of, right? Like bring bring this person, bring that person. The coach has assembled his team. Team is still not performing. Who goes? Is the coach, right? Because since they got Rogers, they brought in Alan Lazar, who he's familiar with, and it's the other guy that I'm forgetting. I can't remember his name at the time. If I remember,
You
I'll
have
let you know.
enough options, basically.
Like
It's long and
there
short.
are weapons there, right? Um, yes, it's the running back, Brees Hall, right? I think that's his name. So
No,
like
Hall
they
was
have
there already. He was already there before. That was
no,
the guy
he
that was.
no, he came in when like they got Rogers. Then they drafted this other Allen guy
No, 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 no,
as
no,
a
no,
rookie running back.
no, no, no.
Was what
Bryce
they
Hall was. Hall was already there. He was like the. I guess like they had one star wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. Hall was the star running back. Then they got another running back in this draft, where it's like between him and Hall, it's almost like there's almost no difference between them. So the whole concept was that they plug in Aaron Rodgers unlocks Paul Wilson, and like you said, they brought in Lazaro and all these additional pieces to make him feel comfortable. Um, there was another crazy stuff that I saw in terms of comparing him against Zach Wilson, where basically like the number of points that they had scored between at this point last season and this season is pretty much the same where Zach Wilson was quarterback. And I find that very funny because um Aaron Rodgers in his career or history was always known as a gunslinger, high points, high yards, high touchdown rating. So
yeah.
realistically, this is made mainly about Aaron Rodgers not performing. And I don't blame him
Yes,
because this is someone who has come from an Achilles tendon. He's in his
but
40s.
I kind
Like,
of blame him. I'll let you finish, but I'll tell you why I kind of blame
no,
him.
I'm saying I blame him in the sense that he is declining based on natural conditions, injury, age, that kind of
Yeah,
thing. But I blame the situation of putting Aaron Rodgers as your savior for this team because this team
yeah,
had been built to be a team, not built like to be sort of anchored around one person. So they would have done better getting somebody who could work within a team model, like sorry, like your Kirk Cousins, that kind of player who is not necessarily like crazy, going to be like flashy, but is going to consistently do what you need to do to move the yard and do things. Like it's funny again, your Sam Darnold, like that guy is now doing that in in the
Minnesota.
Vikings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of those guys that they had on their books that where they always felt like he couldn't do the flashy and do all the creative. And sometimes you really just need a quarterback who's just going to get complete like a 60 to 80% in terms of his completion of yards and not turn the ball over.
Fair enough. But for me, why I'll say the jury is still out on the acquisition of Aaron Rodgers and why I don't feel like he has really helped is it was pretty obvious that um, this Robert Saleh, as you said, wasn't really managing the personality well. Aaron Rodgers had the injury last season, and like these guys, these like players these days in the NFL don't play during the preseason, right? Aaron Rodgers skipped that mandatory mini camp, right? I don't know how it went during training camp, but I know, but from listening to people who have played the game, right, that those team activities are where some of these like relationships build build up, where you iron out some of these like
Yeah.
things that
Get
could be
familiar with
you
their
know
players.
yeah. So the things we are seeing now, right? I still feel like some of those things, if he made himself more available to the team, would have been ironed out during the
And
offseason before
you're
the
not
season
going to do
started.
that when you feel like you MVP, you're a gunslinger, you're just here to come in and save the team, that kind of thing. Like that's why I'm saying like the construct of the team wasn't right. They are a team-focused organization. You don't then just plug in a superstar. You build a superstar. And if you look at Kansas, that's what they've done for consistently. They build a good team and then they've built a superstar to drive that team. Everybody who comes into Kansas knows that, yeah, Mahone is the main guy, but it wasn't someone that they just plucked in and said, oh, you've been good over here, come and be good here. Like it just doesn't work.
Fair enough. Um, Sticking with the Jets slightly, um, what do you think about the Raiders and this whole Devontae Adams situation? Where do you think he's headed? I
I think
hear it's
who's going to
between Saints and
give
Jets, but I
I don't
think
think it's I don't think it's a
I think
cap
he's
issue. You think
no
it
no
I
no.
think no, no, I'm
I
saying
don't
like
think so.
no, no, no. So, like again, a lot of these lists have been cap focused. Teams that have cap space to obviously
Mm-hmm.
get Devontae Adams. That's one element of it. But if you are able to give the capital, which is the draft picks that they want, then you can obviously they will take some players on the back end of things to make it work. Because for them, they are
Apparently,
looking to rebuild.
it's only Casey that wants to give up that second round pick for Adams. But I don't think the Raiders are willing to do a deal with them, given division status.
Yeah. Yeah, no, bro. Like I think it will be
He
sorted
goes to
out.
the Jets too, regardless of this head coach firing.
No, I think it will be sorted out. And I don't know. Devontae Adams is still good, but again, I don't put my faith in a lot of these guys that they are coming off records or like there's a reason why someone is willing to let him go. And not to say like it's not going to be good, but it's not going
I
to be a
think they
game
are trying to
changer.
build. I think they are trying to build a new team. I think they're trying to refresh their team.
Yeah,
And
they're tanking. They're tanking 100%. The Raiders are tanking.
I definitely feel like they are trying to finish as low as they can and get
This
a
isn't
high
draft
draft pick.
lottery. Like the NBA, like when you finish at the bottom, like it doesn't mean you're guaranteed the first pick. But here in the NFL, like if you finish at the bottom, you're guaranteed the first pick. So there's a clearer path to tanking and there's a very clear reward for that getting like the first overall draft pick.
Mhm. So the lower you finish, the higher you draft in the NFL. Yeah. So that's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our banter, right, for this week.
Flags. do challenge us in the comments. Throw your own flags. We definitely like to catch all of them as much as possible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
tell us.
definitely respond to all comments. So please just keep your comments coming in. Don't forget this guy and his power rankings. Please just help me bash him. Please, please.
Yeah,
I'm
don't forget, please. Let's confirm if she is a Dallas Cowboy fan and if we should add that to his background because I'm believing that we need to have it at this point in time because he's just flying under this radar of he's a spectator of the sport, but highly leaning towards one team only. Yes, he likes to talk about
leaning
the
towards
Ravens too.
Baltimore now, safe.
He's
Everybody that
not
has been listening can tell.
okay. It's good that I pointed that out because again, this guy only talks about Lamar based on his flashy plays, but is he really passionate about it? I hear passion when he talks about Dallas. I don't hear passion when he talks about
Oh
Ravens.
my
But
god.
again, put in your
Do you really
comments.
want me to
Put
extend the
it
show?
no,
Like
put it in
he spoke like I didn't want Lamar to take
our,
all the headlines
our
from that
viewers
Bengals
will
game.
let
It
us
was like
know. Our
it was
viewers will
really
let us
more
know.
about Burrow.
Our viewers will let us know. Shay, like you said, if my power rankings doesn't make sense, they will let us know. They will let us
Yes,
know. Are you is
please
Shay a Dallas or is he
call Yimika a hater, please. Don't be afraid to call him a hater.
or
Because you
is he
simply
a
hate
Ravens
him.
fan? Anyhow, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys as always. Continue to throw in those comments and yeah, continue to bring you as good enough of
Like
content
us,
and
like our videos on YouTube, subscribe, uh download the audio podcast as well. We're now available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So
yeah.
yeah.
If you don't want to see our beautiful faces, then you can just hear our voices.
All right guys, have a good one.
All right, bye.